Okay, welcome to this edition of The Running Journey. I'm Rob. This is my brother Charlie.
Yeah, I'm Charlie. That's me.
This is Charlie. We just finished the Manitoba Marathon, Manitoba's largest race. Record attendance this year, and this episode is a race recap episode. We're doing this right after the race. We're in the car. We're on our way to see our father for Father's Day. We have about an hour drive?
Yeah.
15-minute drive maybe, and we're going to talk to you guys about this race. We were pacers for the first time ever in our lives.
So I'd just like to start with, it was not really a day to do PRs, but I'd give a shout out to a couple PRs that happened today.
Wow, right off the bat, jumping into PRs.
Yeah,
he doesn't even want to, okay.
So Grant Woods,
Woods? Yeah,
Grant Woods, PR. Marty Laflèche, PR.
Nicolas Odette.
Phil Marcoux.
Oh, Phil Marcoux, yeah.
PR, Nicolas Odette, PR, and Todd Friesen, PR, that I know of. I haven't checked.
Yeah, just people we bumped into people we ran with and bumped into.
Oh, and what's Nicolas Odette's buddy's name? He also had a PR.
Rob. Oh my God.
327.
Gatton?
Rob Gatton,
yeah.
327 something. So
a lot of PRs out there.
A lot of PRs out there.
For those guys to have done a PR on a day, look at this wind. We are driving here. We are seeing the trees bent over.
Yeah, we got to watch for flying trees and things like that.
And this heat. It's so hot outside right now. Yeah. No, I'm kidding. The reason it was a tough condition, I think, is threefold.
It was warm. It was same temperature as Boston, pretty much.
Yeah, warm 1, wind 2, and I think mileage 3. It was
the extra mileage. Yeah.
0.37 miles extra. I looked at maybe a dozen Garmin watches, and they were all between a third, about a half kilometer extra, 0.4 to 0.5 kilometer extra. And I know that you always say tangential and you always do extra mileage, but it's a little more than what we expected, I think.
Yeah, I'd say maybe I don't know that the course was that long. I'm not sure I agree with that, but I think it was definitely hard to pace because there were some critical 19, 20, 21.
Okay, but wait, before we get to that, hold on. A fact remains that at mile 13, the sign for mile 13...
Yeah, I agree that there was
just exactly 13.00 on my watch. Exactly, 13.00. And I asked all the group I was with, exactly 13. So that means all of the losses, all of the additional, unless I was running sharper tangents on the first half, were in the second half.
No, I feel like there was like maybe a 0.05 extra or somewhere in there, or 0.1, but like a minute... There was like an extra minute in there somewhere. It felt like
I disagree.
Of running.
I think it's I'll tell you my version of what happened at mile 19, and because I know, because I was so focused, laser focused on this pacing. Our pacing gig was, first off, did you enjoy it?
I enjoyed it, but honestly, like, marathons are hard even when you run them way below your... Like, I guess maybe I hadn't trained. Like, I guess I haven't done... I need more miles, I think, to be able to run a marathon. Like,
you're biking a lot?
But I'm not running. I'm running... I guess I need more than 25 miles a week because I felt like my legs were dead at mile 8. Like, so to me, it was actually kind of a mental struggle to just keep going because I didn't have the motivation that I was going to do a PR or anything. But I just kept focusing on trying to hit my exact mile splits. But it was tough because the miles were off. But
it is tough when you the motivation. So like you almost need something, right? You need some sort of motivation. So what did you kind of draw on as motivation during today's race? If you can't do a PR, if you can't...
Yeah, my motivation was to try to hit every mile as close as I could.
Exactly.
Yeah, but I got a little frustrated with the my miles were jumping around like a lot, so I feel like there's quite a few that were off.
Yeah, and you recall, those of you that listen to the podcast, last episode, 2 episodes ago, I said, what's your strategy for pacing? You said, no, I'm just going to use the signs because the signs are going to be accurate. You said the signs are going to be accurate. It's Manitoba Marathon. It's a big race. Every time I'm going to see a sign, I'm going to hit the lap, and it's going to be accurate, and I'm just going to make sure that that's accurate.
Well, I feel like, so the last 2 races we ran were Boston and New York, and like I know those were like dead on.
Yeah, but I specifically said, but Manitoba's been known to be off. I said, last year I ran it was off. Your 10K was off, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. He said, it's going to be accurate. It's going to be accurate. This was not that far off my CMV Canada half marathon. Like, I don't think I was that much worse than this.
Yeah, so I think if I were to redo pacing for
the Rob strategy,
I would just say, it's like 26.5 miles.
26.4, let's say.
Yeah, 26.4, and just pace for that pace. Just assume you're going to be a little bit more, and then just keep running and don't even look at the miles, because
they were not helpful.
They were actually threw me off. Like, I feel like I kind of screwed over the runners that were running with me, because to me 13 to 14 was like a 10-minute mile.
Yeah, it had an extra 0.1 or 0.2, I think.
It was like a 10-minute mile, and I know I wasn't like more than 10 seconds off any mile, right? So there's no way I ran a 10-minute mile. So all of a sudden I was a minute behind after mile 14. So then, so like 15, 16 were like slightly, I did those like 10 seconds faster, and I lost my whole group there. And then I found another group after. Anyways, I don't know if we want to go into details right now, but yeah. So then I found, then I kind of, another group formed with me around 16. It kind of like 16, 17, 18. I kind of started collecting more people that were like falling off the pace from earlier pacers. And then I was exactly to the second on pace on mile 18. So I was like, okay, I'm back on track. Perfect. I did a couple hard miles to get there, but exactly back on track. And then mile 19 came, and
okay, we'll save mile 19 for a sec. I want to let's go back to the beginning of the day.
Yeah.
And so we get there at 6:20. We walk. We get there. We walk over to the course. We're kind of there about a half hour early. Make our way out to the start line. Put up your paddle. I was one of the first pacers there.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, I don't know about you, but people just kind of started, hey, I'm Bill, I'm James, I'm whatever. I want to run on 3:45 today.
Yeah.
I had probably, this is not an exaggeration, I think I probably started with 30 runners. Yeah. I had a huge group.
Yeah, I had a small group. And I told you this before on the way. I'm like, no one wants to run a 350. So I had like maybe 10 people at the beginning.
Maybe they should have been running 350s,
but
we'll get to that.
But I think I think almost everyone who doesn't have enough experience running a marathon seeds themselves too high. Like, start further back.
Well, you probably need, I'd say, 5 or 6 marathons under your belt before you start to get a feel for what your seeding is.
Yeah.
Because I mean, we ran with some were experienced. I talked to some people today. They've done second, third. Most of the group, my group, was first timers.
Yeah. And
immediately in my head, I'm like, okay, you're not going to be with me in 10 miles, and you're going to be out. But it was tough for them, because I would ask them. So were you chatting a lot with your group?
At first I was. Basically the last 10.
Well, there was no one.
The last half mile, last 12 miles I didn't. I talked to one guy. One guy I picked up at around mile 16, and he was very strong, and he finished all the way with me from 16 to 26. And I'm sure I did a negative because the miles were off, but yeah. Yeah,
the miles were dramatically off the second half versus the first half.
Yeah.
To my watch, I finished 16.47 miles. 26.47 miles.
Yeah, but did you have a negative split?
By it's going to end up being 4 minutes or something. It's going to be absurd because of the extra mileage.
It can't be 4 minutes.
Charlie, I was... Okay,
you were 4 minutes ahead at the half?
I did 0.37 extra miles. What's 0.37 extra miles? It's 3 minutes?
Yeah, I don't know.
So my time at the half at 13.1, which matched the race course, was exactly 1:52.50. So I was 20 seconds slow.
Okay, I was almost right on 1:55.
Yeah, but I was exactly on at 14 and 15 and 16. I mean, that one was a little off.
But 14, I lost a minute at 14. 14 was a long mile.
Was it 14 or 15?
One of those.
Yeah, so there was one of those that was off. But all I'm trying to say is every mile, so I told my group, we will be doing 8:35s.
Yeah.
And every mile was 8:35s.
Yeah.
8:36s or 8:34s. Minus the aid station, then I would make it up sometimes. So, I felt in the zone for my pacing. I was killing it.
Yeah.
And then I also had, shout out to Nicolas Odette running with me.
Yeah.
He was doing kilometers.
Yeah.
So he would give me the data for the kilometers, just another piece of data, right?
Yeah.
He'd say 5:18, 5:21. We were trying to do 5:20s. The miles are a longer interval, so you get a bigger piece of data, but the kilometers are more data.
Yeah.
So I wanted both. So we were spot on at the half.
Well, sorry. Yeah. There was other. Now I'm thinking about it. Mile 3 was off. remember. It was right.
Mile 3 was way off. It was
right,
right next to the 5K.
Yeah,
right next to it.
Right. I was like, I don't think I was that slow for that mile.
Well, we knew it didn't make sense.
And then all of a sudden, mile 4, I did like a 7. Yeah.
So 3 and 4, I didn't even hit my lap.
3 and 4 were way off.
Yeah, well, just 3, looks like someone forgot to put it. I bet you what happened, and this is a guess, but they said put mile 3 150 meters before the 5K.
Yeah.
Or is it 150 meters? Yeah, 100 and whatever it is.
It's more than that. It's 0.1 of a mile. Yeah, 160 meters, right?
And they probably just, someone didn't know what 150 meters was, and they put it right there, I bet you. Because I think the kilometers were accurate. Nicolas was telling me the kilometers were accurate.
Yeah, I guess should have followed the kilometers.
But definitely
because the 5K seemed right.
5K was on, I think. The 10K was also on. But the miles, so I was confident at mile 13 because I was like, okay, we're still good. Or 12. Let's say at 12 I was confident.
Yeah.
Because I would look every mile, I would look how far am I off from the course. And the course, but the shitty thing is, oftentimes it was like 0.1 off and then you'd get it back the next mile or vice versa, right? Like you notice that?
Yeah. But I feel like, so for me, the second half, I started just following my watch and I said, I'm just going to do 840s. And I'm supposed to do 846s. But because I kind of lost somewhere, I lost a minute. I don't know where.
I lost that same minute.
So I was like, okay, I'll do 840s and then that'll bring me under. So I just kept doing 840s.
That was when, you think? Like mile
14 or 15.
Yeah, okay. I had the exact same thing. Like, what the heck? What happened to my minute?
Yeah.
And then the killer.
19.
Mile 19. There's an aid station. And I'm like, guys, I haven't seen the mile. Has anyone seen it? I still had most of my group there. I still had maybe 16 guys, 15, 16 guys. Yeah. Guys, let me know if you see it. And then we're coming up to an aid station. And then one guy goes, oh, it's probably the aid station.
Yeah.
Because we didn't see it. Now it's like 0.01. And then, okay, must be the aid station. Yeah. So I just assumed that. And all of a sudden we do like another couple minutes. And then we see mile 19 in the curb way past. I looked at my watch. It was 19.31. 19.31.
Well, I there was a guy beside me, and I was doing the, how I get frustrated.
Man, what's going on?
And I talked to the guy. I'm like, I guess I did a 10.5 minute mile.
To just a random guy?
Yeah.
Just to vent?
Yeah.
I'm upset. So I asked my group, I said, guys, and I was like, okay, well, I think that one might just be off. Here's what I did. I don't know what you did.
Yeah, I was like, oh, it must be off. We'll find it at 20.
Exactly what I did. And I said, okay, let's just hold off. We're not panicking. Like, I'm sure the course isn't 0.3 off all of a sudden.
Yeah.
And what was 20? 20.32 or
3.4. I ran from 19 to 20 in like 8:30.
Yeah.
Which was 15 seconds too fast.
Yeah.
Right?
And you were still not
So, but I gained a bit of time. So I was like, okay, whatever. But it was exactly a mile from 19 to 20.
Same.
And then 20 to 21, same thing. 21 to 22, same thing. And in 23, I checked at my watch. 7-minute mile.
Yeah, but you didn't.
7:30 was.
Yeah, but
it wasn't a real. It was an 8:40 mile.
No, I know it was an 8:40. But what I'm trying to say is, by then, it was like.
But by then, I lost my whole group.
Yeah. There was no one left.
Yeah, but there was like 3 or 4 guys beside me. I'm like, hey guys, we just gained a minute.
Yeah. Now that we lost 3.
Yeah.
It was like, I was doing the math so mile 19 was devastating. Or 20 was more devastating.
To me, it was devastating for me because I was like, I'm going to lose my whole group here. Like,
I just felt so bad for those guys. I felt so bad. This huge group that's relying on me to pace them.
Yeah.
We're hitting exactly our splits. Exactly.
Yeah.
We are hitting them. The guys are following. I had one girl, but it was mostly guys in my group. And they're all following. And I said, guys, you follow me. I promise you I'll get you there. And then, sure enough, what do? You hit the hardest mile on the historically, mile 20, right?
Yeah.
And that's when you realize that you have to make up 2 minutes.
Yeah. My miles 20, 21, and 22, and 23, I guess. So those 4 miles, I did them at like 8:30, 8:20, like
15 seconds faster than you're supposed to. Same. I was doing 8:15.
Because I was like, okay, well, I guess I got to gain 15 seconds a mile for a while here, and then I'll be back on track. Lost my whole.
I had 2 minutes to make up. All of a sudden.
Yeah, I was just a minute 15, but I was like, wow.
So I had 2 minutes to make up. I said, okay, well, every mile I would talk with my group. I'd be like, okay, guys, here's what's happening. The last mile, I think it was off or it's on, or we're right on pace, or whatever.
I would talk at every mile too. I'd be like, like,
and I tell him, okay, there's an aid station coming up. We're going to take, a few slow steps, and then we're going to, get up again and go because we need to get the hydration in, whatever. And then at 19, I said, no panic. And then on mile 20, I said, well, two things we can do. We can either assume that this is going to correct itself, or we can start making up the ground because we got like a minute 40 to make up. Yeah. So I said, let's make it up. It's 100 seconds on 5 miles. It's like 15, 20 seconds per mile. Let's do it. And that's what we decided to do. And then I lost everyone. Yeah. One by one. There was one 19-year-old.
One guy stayed with me.
Yeah, there was one 19-year-old who, man, his heart rate, he was in the 190s. Yeah. I mean, he's 19, so like that's...
Yeah, it's just normal.
But he was pushing so hard, and I felt so bad for him. And then Phil stayed with me. Shout out to Phil from the running club, the running group. Yeah. And if you listen to the last episode, Phil, Marty, and Grant, we talked about our strategy. Shout out to Phil because he followed the longest out of those guys.
You're right. I just passed him on the last with like half a kilometer left.
I think he said he did 150 in 10 seconds or something.
Yeah. And he was still moving pretty well at that point. Like I would guess he was like 9-15 miles about that pace. So he's moving still pretty good. Like that's a really strong finish for him.
Really strong, yeah. Because again, those extra miles. So I'd every mile, and there was less and less people that were listening to my soliloquy. Okay, now we got to do whatever.
Yeah.
And then
people
eventually,
are like people are just breathing so hard, and you're like,
and then like,
hey, you guys gotta follow me, and they're like, we're dying.
Nobody's listening. Nobody cares.
Yeah.
You go, one guy. You go, Rob. We'll bring up the rear. Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
So then you're by yourself for miles 22, 23, 24. It's like, this sucks. I feel so bad for these guys. And in a way, how much of that is on me? I don't know. I felt guilty.
Yeah. So I talked to a more experienced pacer after. I talked to Bo Huang.
Yeah.
And I asked him, like, what do you do? Like, the miles were so far off. And like, what do you do? He says he uses your strategy.
My strategy.
Like, he said he uses the pace, but then he goes like 2 or 3 seconds under.
To make up for the addition.
Yeah, and he just goes steady at that pace on his watch.
That's what I should have done.
Yeah, well now, I think that's what you should do, yeah.
That's what I did with Marty in LA.
Yeah. And I was wrong on that. But I mean...
Takes a big man.
If the miles are accurate, my way's better.
Agreed. 1,000%.
But they weren't, so...
1,000%. That was my only worry. that they would be off. And on mile 3, when it was way off, I'm like, great.
Yeah.
We're going to have one of these days.
Yeah.
I want to talk about like how many people in your group did you think when you started were in for a rude awakening?
Well, I was hopeful. I knew one guy wasn't going to make it right away because he was breathing a little too hard. But I was hopeful. I guess I'm a bit of an optimist, but I lost them all at mile 14.
So imagine if I was doing Run with Rob. I just thought about this just now.
Yeah.
So I've raced a lot with a lot of people, right, over the last. And imagine if I would have followed the pace that those guys gave me, and I would have just left them in the dust, right? So every time I would run with Rob, someone would say, "I'd like to run a 2-hour today."
Yeah.
Or a 2:10 or a 2:05 or 2:15.
Yeah.
And 90% of the time they couldn't do it, right?
Yeah.
So imagine if I would have paced that, they would have all been behind me. So today, they all had a goal of 145 or 150 and 345 or 350, the full marathon, and we all left them in the dust because we had to finish our races in time. So I guess
I kind of saw my role as just being the visual. Basically, the visual, like when you're running, it tells you where you're at. Basically,
kind of like when you're on Zwift and you're seeing a shadow of yourself.
Yeah,
for
exactly.
Your last race.
Yeah, something like that. You're right. So I felt like as the 350 pacer, I was kind of sometimes when people were struggling at mile 20 and 21, and I would pass them, that I was like kind of like the Grim Reaper. Is like. Like they were seeing the 4-hour slip away.
Yeah, you were killing their chances at a 4-hour.
Yeah, when they'd see me go by, I felt like, they're... But then when I got to like 23 and 24, it's kind of the opposite. I kind of felt... I could see
they're going to hang on.
I could see that people would see me and they'd be like, okay, well, I'm still going to be under 4.
Right.
And then they would kind of have a second effort.
The Grim Reaper. You were the Grim Reaper.
At mile 20, I was the Grim Reaper, yeah, for sure.
I guess I was more optimistic. It was tough for me to tell because they started falling, and I was like, "Hey, does that guy have a chance at 4? Like, does he have a chance at 4? We're 15 minutes
honestly,
ahead."
When I saw Marty and Grant, I was like...
When did you pass Marty and Grant?
Just before mile 19.
Okay, so they were with me.
Yeah.
For most, I guess, I don't know when they fell.
Yeah. So
you would have been 3.5 minutes behind me at that point? 4 minutes behind me, something like that?
Yeah, around there, yeah. So when I saw them, I knew that they were probably struggling, because I know how that marathons, that's when they get hard.
Marathons are hard.
Yeah. Plus, I knew it was tough conditions. Like, it was warm and it was humid, right? Like, I mean, that is surprisingly makes it hard. Like, to me, yeah, I'm going to talk about that after, but yeah, it was pretty hard conditions. Like, it was, and then I saw them, I was like, what do they need right now? I didn't know exactly what to say, but I said, you got 10 minutes in the bank, guys, to break 4.
That's what you said?
Yeah.
I love that.
I didn't know, because I felt like...
but you had to go a little faster, so it might have been like 9:30 or 9 or whatever. Right?
Yeah.
But whatever.
Yeah.
That's a good thing to say to them, I think.
Yeah, I don't know. And then they both broke 4, so...
Broke 4, Marty. Shout out to Marty and Grant.
Yeah.
That was...
But
just broke 4, 3:59.
But I've been in their shoes where it's your first marathon or second. Like, Marty was his second, but Grant was his first, and it's hard. It's so hard, that part of it. So for them to rally and go under 4 was amazing.
Like in LA with Marty, he ran a 4:01 and change or whatever.
Yeah.
But like it was within reach, kind of the first 22 miles, right?
Yeah.
And then it just fell right at the end because marathons are hard and it's just no longer possible. And I stayed with him. Yeah. But had I been a pacer, I would have had to leave him in the dust there, right?
Yeah.
But like today, they were able to be by themselves. I don't think they ran together, right, at the end?
I think Marty went ahead after a while. And then, but I think Grant finished really strong.
So Grant definitely went ahead first in the first 10 miles. He was ahead of us. He was ahead of me.
Oh, okay.
And then we caught up to him, I want to say, I don't know, 13, 14, something like that. Yeah. And then Marty had to take a huge deuce.
Oh, yeah.
He said minute 45, minute 50. He couldn't hold it in. So that was, I don't know, mile 20 or whatever. Yeah. Also coincided with the walk, the wall.
Yeah, so I had to go for a pee at mile 8.
Did you take it?
Yeah.
You gave your paddle to someone else?
I gave it to a guy beside me, and then I was like, I like sprinted out after. I was like, oh, he's going way too fast.
I can't trust anyone to do this.
So I grabbed it. I'm like, buddy, you went a little too fast there.
Gave him a heck?
Yeah, I gave him a...
This way too fast.
I was just...
What are you trying to do?
I was kind of kidding with him, though. It was a downhill section.
Pacing is hard. I remember when I was running with James O'Brien in Run with Rob, I told him, I'm just going to go take a pee. You keep going. He was trying to break the record. He was trying to break... And I left him, and he was so far ahead, I took like a 20-second pee. Yeah. And I couldn't catch him because he was doing like 7-minute miles or whatever. Like, what are you doing, buddy? He had no idea. Finally, I sprinted. I caught up. I said, James, slow down. I said, how fast am I going? Way too fast. He had no clue.
So I checked my watch when I caught up to him, and it said 6:01.
Like, that's how fast you were going?
That, like, the current pace.
To catch up to him.
To catch up.
6-minute miles.
Yeah.
And you were doing... So Charlie was pacing 3:50, so that was a 8-minute and 46-second mile. Yeah. And I was pacing 3:45, which was a 8-minute and 35-second mile, which would have left me 10 seconds at the end. Yeah. Had I done the whole way, I would have had 10 seconds at the end.
Yeah.
And we did not factor in the extra mileage. So guaranteed next time, that's what I'm doing. Now, sorry, go ahead.
Agreed. Yeah, agreed. That's what I would do next time.
Yeah, screw the signs.
And I would run more miles because I felt really undertrained. I felt like my legs had nothing. Mile 6, legs.
I find that odd though. You're doing so much training. I guess a lot on the bike.
Yeah, but I'm only doing like 20. Like my legs need a lot of miles.
It's like the reverse of last week.
My legs need miles, man.
Yeah, it's the reverse of last week.
Yeah.
Not enough. So I had not enough bike miles.
Yeah. But you had way more. That's why you beat me on the run. You had way more run miles.
Like, I know you were saying, like, how do you feel?
Oh, I feel sore. I feel tired. Like, it was hard. I was like, one of the things I was thinking was like, I can't believe I did a 3:03 in Boston. Boston conditions were, like, today was hard, but Boston was way harder than today. And still I did it. Like, I'm just so impressed at my 3:03.
That was an unbelievable time. I told you that when you did it. You didn't seem to think that way, but...
I was in really good shape at the time, though. But my legs, so today felt actually like, I mean, I could have maybe, like, it was hard to do a 350. It was not, like, marathons are hard. Like, it wasn't super hard, but it was still pretty hard. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I didn't feel that. I struggled last week big time. I was very open about how much I struggled in the Brunswick Triathlon. I could not bike. It was such a struggle, but it was not a struggle for me today. I enjoyed it, and it was a relatively easy run and a fun run. I didn't enjoy the additional mileage and the drama that came with the back 9. But I was like, okay, well, this is what we got to do, and then lost everyone.
At some point I did that. I did think, I'm like, well, okay, enough getting mad,
enough whining, enough booting.
Accept the reality.
Yes,
of the situation.
focus on what you can control.
Accept the reality of the situation. I'm like, what do I need to do? Okay, 10 seconds a mile faster for now.
Did you ever? I'll tell you the story. I'm not going to ask you if you did this. I pulled out my phone and I was like, I must be doing the math wrong. I was doing the math in my head.
Yeah.
I must be doing the math.
You pulled a conversion chart.
I just pulled a calculator out and I said, where should I, it was like at mile 20, where should I be right now? And I knew what I needed to be because it was 84, it was 85 and a half minutes. It was supposed to be exactly 170 minutes and change, 171 minutes, but I was not there. I was a minute and a half 40. That's when I was a minute and a 40 off. I said, is that possible? I'm that off. Pulled out a calculator. Holy shit! I'm actually that far off.
Because it just,
I didn't believe it.
It was so crazy.
It was so crazy. I was like, I've been on every mile. I've been exact. And what I would do, we'd get to the mile, and I'd go, all right, guys, we're 2 seconds off the total pace or whatever, right? Yeah. And the miles were never exactly. So, like, my miles were always 8:35s, but sometimes I'd be off a little bit or whatever. So we would celebrate every mile. And then there was no celebrating in Buddville because
when you were doing the 8:20s,
I was like, sorry, everyone, this is going to be the shittiest time. But at least we're not on mile 20, right? Oh, no, whoops, we are at mile 20.
There's a couple spots where I wasn't paying attention, and I knew I was behind, and I was like, I checked my watch, 8:05, oof. Yeah. Just slow down a little bit.
Yeah, and, we're right in the wind. Yeah, sorry, right in the wind. Mile 20, probably the max effort that you've done the whole race.
Did you adjust a little bit on that on the Jubilee overpass? You're not going this way.
I'll take... all right, fine, I'll go this way. I was going to take Caledonia.
Yeah.
I didn't because we were so far behind. That was mile, 20?
Yeah, mile 20. I went slowly up that hill, but I was like...
I was losing them one by one there at that point. I think I did an 8:20 or something, so 15 seconds faster, but uphill and against the wind. Like, Like, no, that must have been the equivalent of a 750 or whatever. Yeah. I want to ask you about... I'm going to go back to this concept that all the people I ran with had run with Rob. Just the concept of how hard running marathons are. And you've talked about it a million times. We've talked about it. We ran with 60 people today. Or I did 30. I don't know what
I had a group of 15 or so to start. And then there was a second different group of 10.
But the second group started before you.
They were ahead of me,
They seated themselves as a 340.
Yeah. But I lost all of those, too.
So that means out of the 30 people I ran with and the 15 that you ran with, zero did their goal. Not one person did their goal.
Yeah.
I had one that went to mile 23. That was my best.
Yeah.
And Phil was the second best.
So I would love to do a study and ask people their goal before a race and see what the percentage is that actually achieve it. I would guess that it's like 10%.
It's unbelievable how hard that is as a skill too. Because what happens is you do 20 miles.
Well, hey, look at even ourselves. Like, okay, how many? I guess we were on a hot streak where we did 3 in a row.
I feel like I'm not overly optimistic. I knew I was going to shit the bed.
But I
called my time in New York.
I missed New York by a minute and a half, and I missed Boston by 3:50. So, like, everyone, like, it's hard to hit your goal, I guess, because you kind of want to push your goal a little bit, right? So
right, but we always do kind of stretch, and then we had I don't know about you, but I had no clue what I was able to do in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
we were pretty sure we were going to break 3 in LA. I was pretty confident.
I didn't say it outright ever, but
I think we did on the podcast. I think we did say we were gunning for it.
Yeah, but after.
No, I think we said it the episode before. Oh. I think we did.
Oh, maybe
stretch goal, break 3.
Yeah, stretch goal maybe. But we were calling it stretch. But in both our heads, we were like,
yeah.
I was like, I'm breaking 3.
I was pretty sure it was breaking 3.
Yeah.
But that's what comes with running. Like, I mean, I'm sure those guys are running a lot too.
Yeah.
But I want to say, having done marathons, pushed, and now training again, right?
Yeah.
It's a little different than, because like Marty,
and knowing the impact of the conditions too, like
right. Like Marty did 90 kilometer a week, so you can't tell me that guy that guy trained.
Yeah.
And he's a smart guy.
Yeah.
And he's good at knowing his body. It's just marathons are hard, and he hasn't done enough of these, and it's like it's
and the
tough.
Conditions were hard.
The conditions were hard today. There's those 3 factors. So 0% of the people that we ran with that signed up, and I say signed up, they told us their goals because they started running with us, right?
Yeah.
So those were their goals. And some were even like, I'm hoping to do better than 3:45, but I'll start with you.
But I feel like there's kind of a mentality that people have that I think if they could flip it around, where the mentality, they all know they all know they're gonna fade, right? So they start faster because they want to
bank them time.
They want to bank time, which to me is like, if you could flip that around and say, I'm gonna go slow enough that I can finish strong. It's so hard to do, but that's what that's the trick.
100% that's a trick, and you and I are good at this. We are good at this, Charlie.
Yeah.
We're good. It's one of our skills.
But it's very, very hard for people to even understand that concept.
No, and I told the guy, like this one guy who was running with me, he's like, yeah, I think I could do 4 hours, but I'll start here. And I'm like, well, why are you starting here if you want to do 4 hours? This is 3:45.
Yeah, start at 4:05. If you want to do 4 hours, your best bet is to start at 4:05.
I told him that. I said I wouldn't do this if I were you. I told him straight up. And then when I saw him at mile 8 or 9, he was like struggling behind me.
Yeah.
I made a comment how, we'll wait for him at the finish line kind of thing.
Yeah.
Because I knew he wouldn't make it. But the struggle for anyone who's listening this and is thinking of doing a marathon or has done a marathon, and we're not, we're just 2 guys who run. That's it. We're not coaches. We're not. But I mean, it's hard, and you need to try to do a negative. And a negative means, or at least an even split. A negative means a slower time on the first half, so a quicker time on the second half than the first half.
Go a lot slower in the first half than you think you can go is the key.
Yeah. What did you say in the last podcast? 15 to 20 seconds slower than what you think you can do?
Yeah.
But that's so hard for people to know, right?
Yeah.
It's so hard to know how fast you think you can run in 20 miles.
But then there's also the fear that, okay, I'm going to fade no matter what. Like that, I think the reasoning is people expect to fade, right? So they think if I go faster at the beginning and when I eventually fade, my time will be better. But I think it's, what if you could run it without fading?
Yeah, I've run... And LA we ran without fading. Tucson we ran without fading. Yeah. Vegas we ran without fading.
And actually Boston I didn't fade.
Fade.
It was just a harder second half.
Out of that race.
Yeah.
New York, did you fade? I forget.
I faded a little bit, but to me that's the other thing. If you err on that side, you might fade, but you'll fade way less too.
Yeah. What if you planned not to fade instead of just planning to fade and then to bank time now so that you'll save it for later?
Yeah, I feel like that's kind of what most people do though. But yeah, I understand why they do it. It makes sense it does make sense. It's just human instinct, right?
Yeah. I'll go fast now and whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, more. So this is kind of in the same vein as more miles, less pace, right?
Yeah.
It's similar. It's not.
Those
it's
are
a cousin.
Those are the two important. Those are the 2 main marathon tricks that exist.
Yeah,
I think.
Yep. I'm taking credit for more miles, less pace, but the other one is for sure yours.
Well, no, I mean, it's ask anyone, any experience.
I know, but have you ever heard, nobody's ever told me that.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough.
So this is our job in this podcast, Charlie.
Yeah.
It's to tell people the number 1 ranked lesson is in training, More miles, less pace.
Yeah.
Slow it down. You don't need to do you need to do 2 jogs a week max, where your heart rate hits zone 5 max. And for a portion of those 2 jogs, not for all of them.
Yeah.
The rest of the jogs, what do you always say? Race pace plus a minute or something like that? Or
well, I think this depends on the person, but I generally like to go slow. Like,
yeah.
I'm like a minute to a minute and a half. Oh, I'm at least that. Sorry,
yeah.
I'm
So
like 2 minutes slower.
Whatever,
Yeah.
just way slower.
Yeah.
At a pace where you should be able to jog, not forever, but feel like it's not hard.
Yeah.
It should feel like you're looking forward to the jog, because you can listen to a podcast, you can watch, you can listen to our podcast, listen to us while you run, and you don't have to like stress out about how tough it's going to be, and you can just go out there and run.
Just enjoy it. Yeah.
And nobody does that. Nobody does that. Even Grant was saying yesterday, he's like, yeah, I wish I would have done more miles, less pace.
Yeah. No, I think a lot of the experienced runners do it.
Yeah. And then the second piece is race day. We got to do a video on race day strategy, a separate one. But like,
plan to succeed, I think, is what.
Plan to succeed. And what would a plan to succeed plan look like in your mind? You said it, but like,
I think the number one thing is don't overestimate your ability, because marathons, and the worst thing you could do is underestimate what you can do. But if ever you make that mistake, so in other words, like, start maybe 5 minutes slower than what your goal pace is, and if ever you're feeling great, you're gonna get that 5 minutes at the end.
It's not lost.
Yeah.
Like a portion of it might be lost. A small portion of it.
A small portion. But 99% of the people do the opposite mistake, which...
And the times... And your day's done.
Yeah, they lose 4 times the amount of time. Right?
And not only is your day done, but you end up being miserable, because it's not fun knowing that you're 14, 15 miles in. Your goal is now out the window because Charlie, the Grim Reaper,
the 350 pacer,
has just passed you,
and you're barely moving.
You're barely moving, and you're dreading, and you haven't even hit the wall yet, and you're trying to go back to your training, and you've never run 26 miles in your training. It was only 20, and it's a battle, and you can't frickin' do it. You can't move your legs at that pace, so now you're miserable, and you hate the experience. You don't want to do it again. And you end up getting way less out of your day, right?
Yeah, I think. But let's not be like. I mean, people. I think we gotta celebrate these performances either way.
I'm not. Yeah, like, it's unbelievable. Everyone who finished a marathon.
Yeah.
It's the process that they go through to get there.
Yeah.
They're gonna learn it on their own, or they can listen to our podcast and learn it a little bit through us. But yes, they're gonna finish like today. Those guys. Everyone. So here, I said that at the first mile. I started talking a little bit to my crew, and I said, "You're part of the 1% here, the 1% that have ever tried to do a marathon."
Yeah.
So like, you guys are all heroes. You guys are all winners. And if you actually break 4, you're part of the quarter of 1% or whatever. I don't even know what it is, but whatever it is, because that's like almost nobody does that. So you're winners. I'm not saying they're not winners, Charlie. I'm just trying to.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to be harsh.
No, but I think.
We do have to celebrate.
Yeah, we do have to celebrate, but exactly what you said. I think there's instead of thinking it as I'm going to fade, which I think people just assume they're going to fade, try to figure out a way that you can run a marathon without fading.
Yeah, start there.
Yeah.
And if that means a little bit longer sessions, maybe your long run should be 22. Yeah. And I know coaches disagree with that, but I
mean, there's that. And then there's just more miles, and then there's just better pacing, right?
Yeah. And if you do surround yourself by people who who are positive, who have experience, if you're able to, go out to some run clubs and meet kind of experienced runners, I think, and pick their brains about how they do marathons.
Yeah.
Like, if someone could pick your brain for an hour, like Charlie is the best guy to run with. That, like, in run club, they're the absolute best to run with, because you share all this data, this wisdom that you have.
I feel like I kind of overachieve on my ability sometimes, based on just because I'm a problem solver.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You're like, if I was starting out running, and I did this, never mind, I would want to share every jog with you and just tell me what I should do, kind of thing. You should actually. I mean, I know you're busy, but you would be a great coach. But like, if you get the chance to go to a run club, I don't know, running room or ours or whatever, pick the brain. That'll put you in a better position to succeed for sure. Anyways, we just want people to get something out of this podcast, right?
Yeah.
Like I want. And then I want to ask you. Sorry, I don't know if you were trying to get something in here, but I want to ask you about your blood down your leg here.
I don't know what happened. I was doing some. I guess I was doing some. I don't know what the word
Shaved his entire body. That's what he did.
My entire body, and
everything.
There's some chafing that's happening in places that were unexpected.
I'd say never happened. The balls, probably.
Yeah, potentially.
Maybe.
Yes. Yeah, I'm worried about it. We'll see.
Well, the blood down the leg is never something you want to see.
I've never had that before.
And it's not like blood down the leg. You'll take a peek when we get there and see what kind of damage we have.
We'll see.
I feel good about today.
You know what? It was a humbling experience for me, actually. It was a fun experience. I kind of felt bad for how much of my group didn't make it, but there's always next time. I
have fun. You know what I realized? I had way more fun today than last weekend. I did enjoy last weekend, but I was miserable on the bike. Probably to the tune that you were a little miserable today for part of the run. Maybe not miserable. Is that wrong?
My legs were tired, and they were just you know.
You wish you had trained more?
I wish I was in better shape.
I wish I had trained more for the bike.
Yeah.
And that's okay. Like right now, I'm trained. I don't know what I'm doing. Well, I know what I'm doing. Maybe let's get to that real quick. What do you have coming up here? Are you doing St. Malo next weekend, triathlon?
It's in my calendar.
I think I want to do it.
It's in my Training Peaks calendar, but it sounds like it's going to be really hard too.
Why? Because triathlons are hard?
Triathlons are...
Marty says everything's hard.
Triathlons are a bit hard. They're not marathons.
No, so you've signed up for it?
I haven't signed up yet.
Yeah, the deadline's kind of like the day of. You
can just show up. I am debating because I kind of feel not 100% right now, so I want to see how I feel in the next couple of days.
Okay, I want to go, I think. Just because, the only reason I want to go, two things. I want to see how many minutes I'll shave in just having on the bike, just having done one.
Yeah.
Am I shaving 4 minutes, 5 minutes? And then two, I want to see what I can run.
Yeah. It's a nice course. I like the St. Malo run course.
It's great. It's great. I did it last year with my son. It was his first. He did a try.
It's a nice course. I like it better than Birds Hill.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Plus, home of the Warriors.
Yeah, the Warriors.
Chris Muddy-Set's from around there, I think. I wonder how he did today.
Oh, yeah.
Shout out to Chris. I hope you did well.
Should we do a shout out to other people that finished? So Ryan
Bram. Do you know what he did?
I was not able, but
Ryan Bram. I hope you did well, buddy. We're passing through St. Anne right now, actually, and shout out to Ryan Bram. Jess Dracul.
She was a 5-hour pacer.
Oh, she was a 5-hour pacer, but I know she was running. Joy Palmer was running. Jen Sacco was running. My buddy who we did Boston with together, Ryan Giuliano was running 3:20. The 3:55 pacer was dead on.
Yeah.
What was the name? Gareth, the 4:05 pacer.
Yeah.
I ran with him at Run Club one time at Running Room.
Oh yeah, that's the guy that said,
he lost some weight.
That's the guy that said, you're from the podcast.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I ran with him last year, just out of the blue. You remember that? I just went and ran with the Running Room.
Yeah. You had told me.
That was really fun.
Yeah.
And he lost some weight, and he had talked about doing a triathlon, and he looked in good shape, and he came in exactly.
Well, he crushed a 405.
Yeah, 404.59.
Yeah.
He told me he was perfect. By the way, keep thinking of shout outs while I do this thing about winning this closest to the pin.
Oh, I can't believe I lost.
Yeah, so Charlie went a little too fast in the last mile. So he finished at 3:54.36 or something?
No, 3:49. Sorry, 3:49.30, I think.
Okay, so 30 seconds ahead of your pace.
Yeah.
So they have a prize. Manitoba Marathon has a prize to the pacer who comes in closest to his pace without going over.
I only walked for like 10 meters at the end. I should have walked longer.
You should have walked longer. Yeah, I came in. I walked the last maybe 4 or 5 paces.
Yeah.
But I think I'm going to be pretty tight. I don't know. I haven't seen. Neither Charlie or I have seen our time. I know what my Garmin time was. My Garmin time was 3:44.59.
Yeah.
I hope I didn't get too. I hope I didn't get too cocky.
It'll be close to that. Did you start it early or late?
I tried to be right on time for the start.
Oh, okay.
But I stopped it a few seconds. I'm guessing I came in at 56 or something, 57.
Okay.
Like, I didn't want to get too cute and then miss it.
Be
right?
over by 1
No,
second. It's like Price is Right.
It's Price is Right. Yeah.
Pacing is like Price is Right.
Pacing is like Price is Right. And
that's why I was like all of a sudden pushing some 830s, because I was like, I cannot be over.
Yeah, no, same. I did some miles at 750. Well, I think I did one at 750 at the end, which was like 45 seconds faster than I was supposed to.
Oh, that's against the guidelines.
No, I don't think I did do that. Maybe 15 seconds faster. I did not, and I'm pleading the fifth. I'm not going to self-incriminate myself here. But I enjoyed that. I hope I win. Do you have more shout-outs you want to give? Ryan Bram, Chris Morissette. I think there were some guys from La Broquerie that were running. Oh, I saw, what's her name? Jayla from La Broquerie?
Yeah,
I saw her on the Jumbotron.
She's very fast.
She was on the podium. She finished, I don't know, but I saw her on the Jumbotron. Second, I think, overall in women. Is that possible?
Seems like that would be
third?
Really fast.
Maybe third?
Yeah, I don't know.
We're passing
possible.
through.
No.
So there's runners that were there for the Canadian Championship, right? Because it was the marathon for the half
marathon.
So that means some of the faster runners might have gone to the half, which means that the full might have been a little slower, right?
Yeah. It's like that. It's like that year you did the Olympic at.
Right. Yeah, because they had the. What is this? They're closed. Oh, that's road closure for the Saint Jean Baptiste. You thought it was a race, right?
No.
As soon as you saw it.
No, I didn't think it was a race. But...
Todd. There's a lot of people we saw today that were generous enough to give us compliments on the podcast. So some people are listening, so we do appreciate that. Okay, so you're going to do St. Malo, you said, potentially? If you don't...
50-50.
50-50. Okay, if you go, I'm going to go. If not, can I use your car?
Yeah, for sure.
Put my bike on the back?
Yeah.
Switch cars for the day. Oh, we're catching the post-church traffic here in La Broquerie.
Yeah.
If not, what do you have after? You know what the thing with the Manitoba race calendar?
I think Hecla, the long course triathlon. I'm looking forward to.
That's mid-July?
Yeah, I'm looking forward
July
to that
17th,
because it's more biking, less swimming.
And you're going to do really well at that.
Yeah. Sorry, it's not less swimming. It's just the ratio of swimming to biking is a lot higher, a lot more biking.
It ends up being 1.9K?
1.9K of swimming.
Right, versus 1.5 for the triathlon.
But 90K of biking.
Yeah. Way more biking.
Yeah.
So it's crazy. The triathlon is 1.5.
Yeah.
40 and 10.
Yeah.
But the half Ironman is 1.9, 90, and 20. So it's really just the bike that goes up.
The bike? No.
Oh, and the run, I guess.
The run's more than double.
Yeah. Sorry. The run's more than double. The bike's more than double. The swim is barely more.
Yeah.
So, okay, why is there no races in July in the Manitoba calendar?
I think...
Because it's too hot?
Yeah, I think that's part of it.
I think I want to do... Who talked to us about Brisette recently?
Oh, yeah.
Where is she? She's gone.
She's not even there.
Where's the cow?
Oh, no, she's over there.
I did tell you they put her up on a pedestal.
Yeah.
Quick death here?
No, we're good.
Quick death. Yeah, so the calendar. Okay, so you have that. I don't have... First time in my life, I don't have anything till October.
Yeah, I think you should focus. I think that you do too many races. And I think you should focus on Chicago. You can run a 2:55.
You know what I'd like to do? What do you think about, like... So when we talked to that guy, remind me of the guy who won the...
John Coffin.
John Coffin?
Yeah, John Coffin.
So the fastest 5K runner in Manitoba, one of.
No, there's faster guys.
Know,
but he's one of, yeah.
Yeah, so him and his wife Carolyn, she's his coach, and we met them at the expo yesterday. They were talking about his training.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, I really want to do well. I want to do PBs. I want to do... The guy's highly motivated, no wonder. I asked him how many kilometers he was doing. He said 130 to 140 at his peak. And I was like, well, no wonder he's that fast.
Yeah, but I was like, oh, that's not much more than I was doing right before Boston.
I think I want to do that. I think I want to try 130K for a build here.
I think you would crush that. If you just focused on Chicago, if you told Patrick, I just want to focus on Chicago, I want to take maybe...
I like running.
Maybe a month or two easy, and then do a really big build for Chicago, and I want to do like 150K a week or whatever, or 140, whatever.
What would that be? 150K a week? That would be at 10K an hour, or sorry, at 12K an hour, that'd be Well, 15
I don't
hours.
know what your number is, but let's say it's around there, and you put in a huge build for Chicago. I think you can easily do a 255.
Yeah, I think, like, is it... He said he wants to do a 240, right?
Yeah.
Is it possible for you or I to do a 240, do you think?
I'm not going to say...
Could I do a 240?
I'm not going to say it's impossible. For me, it seems like it would take me a while to get there, and I'm getting older, so I don't know.
Like, I don't know if I'll ever... I'm talking like I'm dying here. But, like, I'm ready right now for an aggressive build, and I have nothing really going on.
Yeah, but take a couple easy months so that your body is, like, ready for that build, is what I would say.
I was going to do, like an ultra or something, but I shouldn't. We've talked about this before.
No, you could. I mean, that's one way, but then I don't think that puts you in a great position to get if you really want an unreal time at Chicago.
What if I just did a slow ultra?
Yeah, I don't know. I think
you don't like it?
There's a lot of recovery there.
Okay, but that feels like it could. Could I do a 240?
No, not 240. You can't do 240.
I can't do 240.
Not for Chicago.
Not for Chicago.
No.
But maybe a 255.
240 is like 6 minutes a mile.
But I mean,
no, it's like under. It's like 5 something a mile.
Right, 6 minutes a mile is. Yeah, it's 5.5.
It's
probably.
like.
I've never done a mile at that pace.
Yeah. So you can't do 240, but I think you could probably do 255.
Okay, I for sure want to break 3.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to not break 3.
Yeah.
So that means...
And Chicago's a nice course to do it on, is what.
Yeah, and I'll have all my buddies there, all my staff. Colin Lafreniere is going. Was he running today?
I think so.
Yeah, I think so, because he had a taper. I think, pretty sure I saw a taper. I saw Dwayne.
Oh, yeah, Dwayne, he does everything.
Dwayne, that guy does not taper, eh?
No, he just goes every race.
He does Ironmans, like, back-to-back weekends.
Yeah.
So he's I think a shift worker or something, and he sometimes gets, like, weird time off. So he'll go on a road trip.
Yeah.
He'll go leave for 10 days. He'll do an Ironman in one city, and then he'll do one the next weekend in another city.
Yeah.
On a road trip, and he'll drive in between. What an awesome guy, that Dwayne. He was a key member of the Peg City Ironman crew. But I think I want to do something like that. I want to do a hard build. I don't know, is 130 kilometers too much? But I could do it slowly, build it. Like, how would you do it?
I think you could peak at 130.
Yeah,
easy.
so that's like the 3 weeks before, right?
Yeah.
So I don't have to do 130 every week. I'm doing whatever, 80 now, let's say, and then I go to 90, and then next month, and then...
Yeah, I think you probably start at... Well, you take a month easy.
Yeah.
A bit easy or 2. And then you maybe start at 70 and then build your way up.
Okay. Because I had fun today. I had fun running. I love running. It's fun.
And then also get some quality miles in there.
Yeah, what do you define quality miles?
Well,
like training
Patrick,
miles?
your coach.
Yeah, I saw Patrick today. Did you see him?
No, I didn't see him.
You didn't see him?
No, what was he doing?
He was jogging in Assiniboine Park there. I don't know, what mile is that? When you cross the bridge and you...
Oh, he probably saw me struggling for a 350.
No, you would have been like 4 minutes behind me, and he was jogging. He said, "Nice work, pacer." And he was going towards you. I'm like, okay, he probably came to say hi to a few of his athletes.
Oh, did he recognize you?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't see him.
Yeah, he recognized me. I said, immediately told everyone, he's a great coach. Shout out to Patrick. Okay, anything else, Charlie?
Shout out to Patrick, who has the all-time fastest 2 loops of Burns Hill Park on the bike as well. Unrelated.
What would that time be?
I found out 59 or 39 minutes or something.
For 22 kilometers?
For no, 26.
Like a loop is 11.
Sorry, the loops go inside the...
Oh, like the triathlon loops?
Yeah, the triathlon loops.
Wow.
Anyways, that was a bit of a tangent. I think let's wrap it up, or what?
Oh, that's Charlie code for I'm done talking to you. Well, I guess we are arriving at my dad's house. Yeah. So it's Father's Day. I want to wish all the fathers out there who are listening happy Father's Day. Charlie and I are going to go see our dad. We're going to hang out with our dad, watch the US Open. We want to thank you guys. If you ran the Manitoba Marathon, we'd love to hear about it. Send us a message. Follow us on Strava if you want. I'm Rob Tatro, my brother Charlie Tatro. Follow the podcast, The Running Journey, wherever you watch your podcast. And don't forget to listen to us while you run. Thanks for tuning in, guys. 5 stars. Don't forget. We'll see you in the next episode.